Uh, Virgo forever is a long word. Um, most words don't earn it. Most moments, however significant they feel in real time, turn out to be chapters rather than turning points. Good chapters, important chapters, um, but chapters. Um, the story continues past them. The trajectory bends slightly but doesn't break. Life looks more or less recognizable on the other side. Um, and then uh, occasionally, rarely, in specific seasons that can't always be predicted in advance, something happens that earns the word, something after which the before and after are genuinely distinct, where who you were going into it and who you are coming out of it are measurably permanently different. The energy around right now, um, tonight, this window, this specific convergence of things that have been building has that quality, the forever quality. Uh, and that deserves to be taken seriously. Let's start with what massive change actually feels like from the inside, because understanding the texture of it is what helps you navigate it without losing yourself in the process. Um, Massive change doesn't always feel massive when it's arriving. And that's the first thing worth knowing. The most significant moments of most people's lives, um, the ones they later identify as the hinge, the pivot, the before and after, often felt ordinary from inside them. A conversation that seemed like any other conversation, um, a decision that seemed like a small administrative choice, um, a meeting that appeared routine and turned out to be the beginning of everything that followed. The massiveness, uh, the forever quality only becomes visible in retrospect. Um, when you're standing somewhere different than where you were, and you look back and you can trace the line from here to there, and it leads back to a moment that at the time felt manageable. So if tonight arrives and it feels ordinary, don't dismiss it. Um, don't conclude that this wasn't the moment because the moment didn't feel cinematic. Pay attention uh, to the ordinary feeling things, because the ordinary feeling things um, in seasons like this one are often exactly where the massive is hiding. Uh, Now, uh, the shocking piece, because shocking and massive together as descriptors of change um, suggest something that wasn't fully anticipated, something that arrives outside the range of what you'd been preparing for. And here's what makes change shocking. Um, Even when part of you saw it coming, It's the gap between intellectually knowing something might change and the physical, actual, this is now real experience of it changing. That gap uh, between the anticipated and the arrived is always larger than expected, even when you thought you were ready, even when you'd done everything available to prepare. Uh, the shock isn't a sign that you weren't ready, it's a sign that the change is real, that it actually happened outside your head, in the actual world, in a form that requires your body to adjust, not just your mind. And bodies adjust slower than minds. Um, that's not a flaw. That's how significant change works in a human nervous system. Give yourself time to adjust uh, when it comes, whatever it is. Um, don't demand instant equilibrium from yourself. Don't expect to feel settled immediately in a situation that is genuinely new territory. The settling takes time, and the time it takes, however frustrating, is not evidence that you can't handle this. It's evidence that this is real enough to require actual adjustment, which is different from things that aren't real, which tend to settle fast because they don't actually require anything to change inside you. This reflection invites you to consider what has been building in your life without fully resolving that feels like it might be reaching a point of necessary movement, not what you want to change. Um, what feels in the specific physical, this is no longer sustainable sense, like it cannot continue in its current form. Because change that earns the word forever rarely arrives from nowhere. It arrives from somewhere, from the accumulation of something that was under pressure um, for long enough um, that the pressure finally produces movement. And whatever has been under pressure in your life might be about to move uh, tonight, um, or in the immediate window around it. Let's talk about the volcano in this title, uh, because that image, volcanic, massive, erupting, is worth sitting with. Uh, a volcano doesn't erupt suddenly. Not really. The eruption looks sudden from the outside, dramatic, unexpected, arriving without warning. Um, but underneath, um, in the geology of it, pressure has been building for a long time, heat accumulating, um, tension increasing, um, the conditions for eruption developing slowly, quietly beneath the surface uh, until they reach the threshold where the only available direction is out. And what comes out, however destructive in the immediate, creates new land. um, new ground, um, something that didn't exist before the eruption. And that becomes over time some of the most fertile ground available. Uh, that's the metaphor worth holding. Not just the eruption, but what the eruption creates. Because massive change, the kind that earns the word forever, always creates new ground. Always. Even when the immediate experience of it feels more like destruction than creation. Even when what's being cleared to make room for the new ground um, is something you valued um, or thought you needed or had organized your life around. Uh, the clearing is part of the creation, not a byproduct, part of it, necessary to it. Um, and the new ground on the other side of whatever erupts tonight uh, is what this is actually about, not the eruption. Um, the ground it creates. Now, the categories. Um, because massive change in a life tends to move in one of several directions, and knowing which direction uh, or which combination um, the energy around tonight is pointing toward is what allows you to meet it with the right quality of response. Um, it might be relational, um, the kind of change that restructures who is close to you and in what form permanently. Um, a conversation that finally happens and cannot be unhad. A decision about a connection made or received that closes one version of the dynamic and opens another, um, or closes it entirely. Um, or, and this version is equally possible, deepens it into something more permanent than it's been. A commitment made, um, a choice declared, a relationship moving from one category into another permanently, um, forever in the specific sense of this is different now. And there's no going back to what it was before. It might be professional, the opportunity that arrives, uh, or the door that closes um, that redirects the trajectory so completely that the version of your career you'd been building toward becomes either suddenly accessible um, or suddenly irrelevant because something better appeared or something necessary got cleared away. Um, both of those produce the forever quality. Um, both of those change the map. Or, and this is the category that's hardest to see coming, but most transformative when it arrives. It might be internal, a shift in how you see yourself, or what you believe about what's possible for you, um, or what you're willing to accept, um, that doesn't look like an external event at all, but produces one. Because internal shifts, in real ones, the kind that happen at the belief level rather than the intellectual level, change behavior. And changed behavior, sustained, consistent, coming from a genuinely different internal place, um, changes outcomes, um, over time, measurably, permanently. Uh, that kind of change, the internal kind, earns forever more reliably than any external event. Um, because external events can be reversed. Internal shifts, um, genuine ones, cannot. Uh, Once you know something, really know it in the body. Um, you cannot unknow it. And that unknowing is impossible quality uh, is the most permanent change available to a human being. This reflection invites you to consider what would need to change internally for the external changes that are coming to actually produce a different outcome than previous changes have. Um, because here's the thing about massive external change: without internal change, it tends to reproduce familiar patterns in new contexts, new circumstances, uh, same dynamics, um, because the person navigating the new circumstances is operating from the same internal architecture as before. And architecture, unchanged, produces recognizable structures regardless of the new materials. What internal shift, what belief updated, what pattern interrupted, what old story retired, um, would make the external changes land differently this time than the external changes before them did? That's the question tonight, is actually asking, um, here's what I want you to carry into tonight as grounding, as anchor, as the thing that keeps you oriented when everything around you is in motion. Um, you have survived every change that has come before this one, every single one, the ones that felt unsurvivable, the ones that required a version of you that didn't yet exist to get through them, and somehow produced that version through the getting through. The ones that broke things, and in the breaking created space for something that couldn't have fit before the break. Uh, you have a track record of surviving, of adapting, of continuing, uh, somehow imperfectly, not always gracefully, but continuing. And that track record, built from every previous massive change, is the most reliable evidence available, um, that you can handle what's coming, Um, Not without feeling it, um, not without the adjustment period, um, not without the moments of, I'm not sure I know how to do this yet, but handle it. Um, Find the footing, build the competence that the new territory requires, become the person the changed landscape needs you to be, the way you always have, um, through the being in it, um, not before, through. Uh, and here, uh, before we close, the thing that needs to be said about forever, uh, forever, um, when it applies to change, doesn't mean irreparable, doesn't mean beyond your influence, um, doesn't mean something that happens to you, um, and you simply inhabit the consequences of. Forever means you are going somewhere different from where you were permanently. And the direction of that somewhere, what the forever becomes, um, is shaped by the choices you make inside the change, not just by the change itself. Uh, how you respond tonight and in the days immediately following determines more about what the forever looks like than whatever arrives. Um, because change is the circumstance. Um, your response is the architecture. And architecture built from clarity, from groundedness, from your actual values and your actual priorities, um, shapes what gets built inside the new circumstances. Build intentionally from tonight uh, into whatever forever is becoming with the specific, grounded, I know who I am quality that no amount of external change, however massive, however volcanic, can actually touch uh, unless you let it. Uh, don't let it. Keep that through everything. Um, Keep who you are, um, while letting what's around you change massively, shockingly, uh, permanently, and beautifully. The power is yours. Uh, it always has been. Tonight, whatever arrives, um, meet it standing, grounded, clear about who you are, even if everything around that is suddenly, dramatically, permanently different. Um, you are the constant. Let everything else change. Keep you. Uh, Take what resonates, softly release the rest. Trust yourself. That's everything today. Go into tonight um, grounded, open, and ready for whatever forever is about to begin. You've handled everything before this. Um, you'll handle this too, better than you think. Um, see you on the other side.